Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Now on Netflix. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has commented or sent me messages. I really appreciate it and it makes me want to continue the series even more. Eventually when the series starts growing I will do more than just 4 recommendations. But for now we will do our usual 2 series and 2 movies, so let's get right into it. The first series on our recommendation is Stranger Things. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this series and I'm sure a lot of you have watched it. For those of you who have not, I would highly recommend it. There are 3 seasons currently on Netflix and a 4th in development. In the original season, it is centered around 4 best friends, Mike, Will, Lucas, and Dustin. When Will goes missing, they start an investigation to figure out what happened to him. As they start to investigate, strange things start unraveling around them in their town, and they realize it's housing a dark secret. I've watched all 3 seasons, and I would highly recommend this series to anyone who likes 80s nostalgia, The Goonies, and just great adventure stories. The show does also include horror elements to it as well. The cast is phenomenal, and the story is well done. Special effects are gold, and at the end of each season, it leaves you wanting more, making it even harder to wait for the series to return. And now on to our next series recommendation. This was recommended to us by a patron and a subscriber of the channel, Lieutenant Crunch. He has recommended Altered Carbon. There is 1 season on Netflix and season 2 will be debuting on February 28th. He says it's one of his top 3 series on Netflix currently. When the first season came out, it was touted as Netflix's most expensive series so far, and it definitely shows. It is set in a very interesting cyberpunk-style dystopia, where you can swap bodies like clothes and the ultra-rich end up living extremely long lives. There are a lot of fun and interesting themes going on in the show's universe. He also adds, as a side note, their pre-launch marketing campaign was actually really cool. They had a booth at CES that year and basically pretended their re-sleeving technology was a real-world breakthrough technology. Tricked some people initially, and it was really fun. Thank you, Lieutenant Crunch, for your recommendation. We really appreciate that. And now, that gets us to our first movie recommendation of the week, Marriage Story. This stars Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. It also stars Laura Dern, and she just won a Best Supporting Actress at this year's Academy Awards for her performance. Driver was nominated for Best Actor and Johansson for Best Actress. The film was also nominated for Best Picture, Best Score, and Best Original Screenplay. The story follows a stage director played by Driver and his wife, played by Scarlett Johansson, as they struggle through a long and grueling coast-to-coast divorce, all the while being pushed to their personal and creative extremes. I have not seen this yet, but I plan on watching it very soon. This was recommended by a friend in my life, so I hope you all enjoy it. Our second and last movie recommendation for the week is Zodiac. The film was directed by David Fincher. It is based on real-life events surrounding the Zodiac killer in San Francisco back in the late 60s and 70s. Absolute fear grips the city as a serial killer called Zodiac stalks its residents. Investigators, played by Mark Ruffalo and Anthony Edwards, and reporters, played by Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr., become obsessed with learning the killer's identity and bringing him to justice. Meanwhile, Zodiac claims victim after victim and taunts the authorities with cryptic messages, ciphers, and menacing phone calls. This movie has a great cast all around and great performances. It is gripping from beginning to end, and I highly recommend you check it out right away. Also, remember all of my recommendations are based on my location in America, so make sure you check in your area to see if these titles are available to you. And that will do it for another episode of Now on Netflix. Thank you all so very much for supporting this series. Please leave a like on the video if you wouldn't mind. It really does help us out. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, we would love you to consider subscribing. And make sure, if you're a current or new subscriber, to hit that bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on every video we do release here on the Geek Blend. Also, all of our social media links are below, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and also our Patreon. We also have a Discord server as well. I'm Jeff, and as always, if you geek about it, we'll speak about it. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.